Krishna devotees, welcome to BhagavatSanga program. This is our Srimad Bhagavatam program, and we are reading Lord Brahma's prayers to Sri Krishna. And these prayers are from Canto 10, Chapter 14, from verses 1 to 40. Today we have two very wonderful devotees, and they're a really sincere and bright devotee child. So we have SatyaRupa Prabhu and Samanvitha presenting, supported by Rasmai Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Hare Krishna Samanvitha.
Hare Krishna devotees. Thank you for thank you Veena Mataji and SatyaRupa Prabhu and Jai Shubhadra Mataji for giving us an opportunity to speak about Brahma prayers. So Samanvitha will give a background about these prayers, and I will next I will speak about the Brahma prayers. I will share my screen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namastubhyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Yasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. I'm going to explain the Brahma Vimohan Leela. So Krishna and all his Gopa friends were going out to the forest to graze the cows. It was Balarama's birthday, so he didn't come. They went and they played all kinds of games. They were really hungry. It was lunchtime. They went to the bank of the Yamuna to pick a scenic picnic spot. They picked a spot called Keshi Ghat. It's a beautiful place on the banks of Yamunas in Vrindavan. And Krishna and all of the Gopa boys sat down and were eating lunch. The Gopa boys put their lunch bags on flowers, leaves, and barks of the trees. Krishna was eating yogurt, butter, rice, and fruit salad. He kept those fruits in his left palm. When they went to the forest, when they were done eating, all the Gopas were shouting out to Krishna. The cows were gone. So Krishna pacified them and went out to graze the calves and find the calves. He searched the mountains, forests, caves, and bushes, but he couldn't find them anywhere. It was Brahma's desire. He saw Krishna killing Agasura, and he was really curious. He stole the calves and the gopas, thinking that Krishna was very little. But then Krishna closes his eyes to meditate, and then he understands that it's Brahma's doing. He is Paramatma, so he will always know. And watching us, We shouldn't do anything wrong because he's always watching us. And then he expands into all of the calves and gopa boys. So they look like just like before, but it's actually Krishna. Krishna enters Vrindavan, and for all the gopis, their affection to their sons increased because all of those sons were actually Krishna. Everything went as normal. 1 year passed. 1 year is Brahma's 1 moment. Brahma had a really long lifespan. 1 day of Brahma is 1 kalpa. 1 day and night is 4.32 billion years. Brahma's whole lifetime is 100 Brahma years. It's equivalent to 311.4 trillion of our human years. 1 day of Brahma was life, all of life manifested, and 1 night of Brahma, life unmanifested. So Brahma's 12 hours are equivalent to 432 billion years times 1,000. Almost a year passes. Krishna and Balarama were heading with the calves in the forest. The cowherd men are also grazing their cows. So the cows run and feed milk to some calves. They're not even their own calves. Their affection increased so much more. The cowherd men were so happy with affection to their sons. But Brahma was so amazed. He hid the gopas and calves. How did they manifest on the earth? Brahma is perplexed. He returns puzzled. Then Krishna shows his all the boys are actually and calves are actually Vishnu forms. Brahma realizes that he is so small. So the glowworm, it releases light, and so does the sun. But the sun is so much stronger in quantity than the glowworm. So the sun is greater than the glowworm. Brahma is the creator and Shiva is the destroyer. Both tasks are really easy. It's easy to make something and it's easy to destroy something, but maintaining it is really hard. That's why Vishnu is the maintainer. The hardest part is given to Krishna because no one else can do it. Brahma's realization. The calves and boys are not Vishnu Maya, but they're Vishnu himself. Krishna cannot be reached by impersonalists. Brahma felt small and remorseful. So sometimes we may think that why does such a great personality like Brahma was covered with the curtain of Yoga Maya? But actually, the Maya we think of is really different. We are consistent souls, so we're in Mahamaya. We're covered with ignorance. But Brahma was covered with Yoga Maya. Krishna covered him so he could teach us a lesson. Then when Brahma when Krishna came back and got the real cows and calves and gopas, they were in mystic sleep. They just woke up and they were like, Krishna, how did you come so fast? But actually, a year has passed without them. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Samanvitha, for giving the background of Brahma prayers. So, one minute, I'm just opening. So this is the background how Brahma, the creator of this universe, got bewildered, and when Krishna taught him a lesson to make him understand what is his position and what is Krishna's position, he established that. Upon that, Brahma humbly surrendered and prayed through like 1 to 40 slokas. So it is amazing. So the Brahma's prayer, the few points which I realized, means which I understood, and everyone we should understand these things, like there is simply no way to understand the truth of the personality of Godhead without his mercy. So this is all Brahma saying. On the other hand, any home without a connection to the Lord Krishna is in fact a prison cell of the material existence. So how material existence can be material existence always impute, makes our illusion and false happiness and false ego, which creates and so we strive for a mode of passion or in mode of ignorance. Then it will lead to unhappy and like miseries. So when we connect with Krishna, Lord Krishna, so we will be in mode of pure goodness. So in his prayers, Brahma saying, although my mind is completely withdrawn from the material affairs, I cannot understand your personal form. How then could I possibly understand the happiness you experience within yourself? So such a wonderful point Lord Brahma made, saying that when Krishna, he set aside all the material activities and concentrated on Lord Krishna, but he could not understand his full potency. And how can he understand how much Lord is enjoyed happiness within himself? So in the third sloka, Tanu Van Manobihi. So here and regard the word Namantaha, offering obeisances. Okay, so Lord Brahma saying one should engage his body by touching the ground and his hands and the head while offering obeisances to the topics of the Lord. One should engage his word, praising the transcendental literature such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are the Tan Van Manobihi. So who can mind, body, and words? All we need to engage in the service of Krishna. Then only we will acquire a small amount of transcendental knowledge about Lord Krishna that can conquer him and thus go back to Godhead for the eternal life Lord's side. And the Lord and Brahma is mentioning devotional service is the best path of the self-realization. And if someone gives up the path, devotional service, and engages in the cultivate of the speculation knowledge, it is like a person who is beating the empty husk. So empty husk, how much ever we have beaten, then it won't, the grain won't be inside because there is no gain. So in similar way, the mental speculation, simply the mental speculation about Krishna will leads to nothing. Sramaihi eva kavalam. So we should engage in devotional service. That is Lord Brahma saying in his prayer. And in the past, so he also saying that when we take the Lord name, our all sins are eradicated. When devotees suffer, so we have seen that. Before that, I want to tell about Tattenu Kampa Susamekshumanam. So in that verse, Lord Brahma is saying, even though we are suffering in this life because of our past activities, we should remain in contact in the Krishna's consciousness, Krishna's service. Then that will lead to the that will release the clutches of this material existence, and it will lay the path to go back home, back to Godhead. So we often think that whenever we take the Lord's name, all our sins eradicated. Then why devotee suffers? Then in that purport explains that devotee suffers because their past karma, and no, it is not correct. So what happens? The Lord gives the difficulties because any tendency to do the sinful activity, if it is anything is there, Lord gives the pain, sufferings to us to remove the vestiges from our mind. So we are free from completely sinful life. Even past and current tendency also he will remove and make us to take us to back home, to back to Godhead. And Brahma saying that Krishna can bewilder even the master of illusion. This entire universe is created by Lord Brahma. So it is completely, he is the master. So Krishna is master of the master, because Krishna, compared to Krishna, Brahma is like a spark in the presence of a great fire. He have hide the cows and calves, but Krishna can produce them and make them as everything normal. And Brahma in his prayer saying that I am born out of passion and I tend to do mistakes. So I am deserved to be punished. But since I am your servant, I am begged for your mercy. So Lord Brahma is humbly requesting Krishna that his mercy. And I am enclosed like a pot-like universe filled with material energy, but unlimited universes pass through your body. He is saying that Brahma is the creator of this universe, but these kind of many universes comes from the pores of his body of Krishna. So this establishes what is the position of Brahma and Krishna. In these prayers of Brahma, there is much to learn for those who are falsely puffed up by the accumulation of power. I have this, I have that. So who have on this universe like whatever, like more than Brahma? So Brahma himself is surrendering. I am negligible in front of you. So we need to understand what is the Krishna's position. And in this incarnation, you prove that you are the supreme controller of Maya. Although you are now within the universe, the whole universe creation is in your transcendental body. So Krishna, he is praying that entire universe is in your body, but yourself is in this universe. So he could show to Yasodamaya, Lord Krishna, the entire universe and universes and all. So entire universes in his body. At the same time, he is present in this universe. So that is inconceivable energy. What Lord Krishna possesses. So, O Lord, O Supreme Creator and Master, you have no material birth, yet to defeat the false pride of the faithless demon and show mercy to your saintly devotee. You take birth among the demigods, sages, human beings, animals, and even aquatics. So, Matsyavatara in aquatics, animals, he incarnated like a boar, human beings, Rama, and the sages, he is like Parshuram, and demigods, he is like Vamana. So he have taken birth and to defeat the false pride of the faithless demons. And in 10.14.23, Brahma is praising Krishna's qualities, like you are self-manifested, endless and beginningless. You are the eternal and infallible, perfect and complete, without any rival and free from all material designation. Your happiness can never be obstructed, nor you have any connection with material contamination. Indeed, you are the indestructible nectar of immortality. So Brahma is saying one can understand Krishna through the knowledge received from the spiritual master. So they are able, whoever gain that knowledge through the spiritual master, they are able to cross over this ocean of illusionary material existence. And and the conception of the material bondage and conception of liberation are both manifestation of the ignorance. So being outside the scope of true knowledge, the case is exist when one can understand that pure spirit soul is distinct from matter. Whoever understand that like this living entity is distinct from the matter, they can realize. And bondage, when they realize that, then there is that doesn't matter bondage or liberation. There is no significance that, just as day and night have no significance from the perspective of sun. So sun is always day, there is no day or night. In the similar way, whoever understand the matter is distinct from living entity, then if they are fully consciousness, then they are liberated from, there is no significance of bondage and liberation. And 10.14.30, my dear Lord, I therefore pray to be so fortunate that in this life as Lord Brahma, or in another life, wherever I take my birth, I may be counted as one of your devotees. So he is praying, Brahma is praying, maybe in this life or the next life, I wanted to be a devotee. I pray that wherever I may be, even among the animal species, I can engage in your devotional service to your lotus feet. So one story I remembered. So when Krishna went to this Vrindavan forest to graze the cows, and after eating the lunch, so Krishna wanted to wash his hands. Okay, so usually when we eat, some small grain pieces will be in that nail, end of the nail, or the between the fingers. So he wanted to wash the hand. So Brahma wants to eat those remnants. So he became like a fish, and he is there in the pond where Krishna went to wash his hands. Then Krishna immediately realized that, no, I don't want to give my remnants to you. It is for reserved for only pure devotees. So when then Krishna asks his friends, bring some water. Then he washed his hands on the land. He don't want to give that remnants to the non-devotees. So in that way, Krishna is partial to devotees and to non-devotee. And his prayers are went on like, how fortunate are the cows and ladies of Vrindavana, because Krishna took a form like calves and cowherd boys. So then the nectar of whose breast milk you have happily drunk to your full satisfaction, taking the form of their calves and children. So all Vedic sacrifices performed from time immemorial to the up to till now have not given you as much satisfaction. So he kept on saying that, how good fortune to take any birth, whatever the forest of the Goloka, and have my head bathed by the dust falling from the lotus feet of any of its residents. Here, Brahma saying his prayer, I want to take a birth in the forest of Goloka, and he doesn't want the dust of Krishna. He wants the, like, he is expecting the least. He want at least the dust of the residents of Vrindavana. How fortunate they are. So the Brahma prayers are going on. Their entire life and soul is Supreme Personality of Godhead. The dust of whose lotus feet is still being searched in for all Vedic literatures. And Krishna and Brahma is saying, you are so compassionate. You give everything to Putana and his family members. They came in the disguise of a devotee. Then what you have left to give to the Vrindavana, residents of Vrindavana, who have given wealth, their lives, children, everything to you? What is left? Because if we are keep on giving, we will be losing, right? So Brahma is praising Krishna that you are giving to the enemies who have came to make harm to you. Then what is left with you to give it to the residents of Vrindavana? And uh, and and Brahma saying, until people become your devotees, their material attachment and desires remain as thieves. Their homes remain prisons, and their affectionate feelings for their family members remain foot shackles. So he is saying the importance of why we need to pray the God and Krishna. And my dear master, although you have nothing to do with material existence, but you come again and again to earth to give your ecstatic enjoyment for your surrendered devotees. So, and one of the most important point in the Brahma prayers, I like this very much. There are people who say, I know everything about Krishna. This is Brahma saying. There are people who who say, I know everything about Krishna. Let them think that way. As far as I am concerned, I do not wish to speak very much about this matter. My Lord, let me say this much. As far as your opulences are concerned, they are all beyond the reach of my mind, body, and words. So, what to speak of like far below than Brahma, like us? So, the Brahma saying, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, as long as this universe exists and as long as shines, I will offer my obeisances unto you. So Brahma is saying this, and he is asking mercy, and he wants to live. And before he is leaving, he circumambulated the Krishna 3 times and like paid his obeisances. So it's amazing prayers, and it's truly realizing for me. That's all from my end.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. That is really very nice realizations you shared, Prabhu, and very nicely you described from the beginning of the prayers to the end, covered all the verses. And yes, without Lord's mercy, we cannot understand Lord. Very beautiful points. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, Samanvitha. Your narration of Brahma Vimohan Leela was very beautiful. And I really like how for every depiction you had a picture to depict what was happening. So it really connected the story and the picture very nicely. Thank you very much, Rasmai Mataji, for supporting them. It was a very wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. With that, thank you, devotees, for joining the BhagavatSanga program today. We will see you all next week. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, SatyaRupa Prabhu and Samanvitha. Wonderful presentation. And thank you to your Samanvitha's friend Diya for giving remote support. Hare Krishna.